I'm Dot Property Group Editor-in-Chief Cheyenne Hollis, coming to you from the heart of Bangkok, Asok. One of the questions, or one of the topics I get asked about frequently, probably the most, is regarding leasehold property. People want to know, is it a good idea? Is it a good investment? What concerns are there? Are there anything I should worry about? Well, that brings me to Exchange Tower. I have enlisted the services of one of Thailand's leading property lawyers who's going to help me find the answers to all of your questions about leasehold property ownership in Thailand. So what are we waiting for? Let's go up and find out more. Kun Sirachot Chayachot is co-founder and partner at Leasehold. When it comes to leasehold property, the one thing he cannot stress enough is that it is a very challenging and complex ownership structure.
If you just like your first time or second time in Thailand and live here for less than a year, I do not recommend you buy like land and house or leasehold, even leasehold in Thailand at your first outright here in Thailand. It's too risky.
This isn't to say buying leasehold property in Thailand is a bad idea, but there is a lot more to it than, say, purchasing a condominium unit in the kingdom. That all starts with the ownership duration. A freehold condo is yours forever. A house and villa, well, that will not be.
Residential building or residential property can be leased at a maximum of 30 years. So a lease of less than 3 years doesn't have to be registered at the land office, but the lease for more than 3 years has to be made in writing and registered at the land office. So regardless how long the lease is, even 1 day or 30 years, it has to be made in writing, otherwise it will not be enforceable.
Thai law states a lease can be extended for 2 additional 30-year periods for a total of 90 years if both parties agree. Of course, there is no guarantee this will happen unless it is clearly stated in your contract with the landlord. That is only one of many misconceptions people have about buying leasehold property in Thailand.
Many foreigners or many people, I would say even Thai people, they may think that they can have like the 90 years or 99 years registered at the land office in front, or the agreement that they have is already 90 years. So they never expect that this is not an automatic right. They just believe that upon the expiration of the lease term, the first lease term, they can just like renew and stay there for another 30 years and pay a minimum amount of money, but it's not the case. And then some of them may think that they owns both the land and the house. Yeah, but they still be the leasee. So if the agreement is not made properly, there will be some restriction. For example, like you cannot sublease, you cannot assign the lease agreement unless it has been specified expressly in the lease agreement.
That last bit, well, it can be extremely problematic should you wish to sell your leasehold property. There are a few options at your disposal should you wish to transfer your lease, but these must be made clear in your contract. If not, you may find yourself at the mercy of your landlord who is not legally obligated to assist you.
You can do like a sublease agreement, just like 1 year each, or you can assign the right that you have, the remaining lease term, to a third party. So for example, sublease is just like one year or up to 3 years that you can sublease to someone else. But if you want to sell the remaining lease term, like 15 years, or the right to extend for another 30 plus 30, right? So you can assign your rights under the leasehold to a third party. Or the third option will be like you agree with the landlord or the lessor to terminate the agreement and then let the new leasee to enter into a whole new set of documents with the landlord.
There is a little more certainty when it comes to transferring the property after death. Thai inheritance laws state that assets are to be distributed amongst statutory heirs should the deceased not have a will. This offers some protection, but it is usually a good idea to have a will made in Thailand just in case.
So if there is a clause in the agreement saying that this leasehold will go to the heirs of the leasee, then the leasee can contact the lessor either to transfer the remaining lease term to the heirs of the leasee. Yeah. So I recommend you have a will drafted under Thai law if you have like a lot of assets in Thailand. When I say a lot, it can be like more than 800,000 because when you have retirement visa, you need to put like at least 800,000 in the Thai bank account, right?
There are many developers and real estate agents in Thailand, especially ones in tourist destinations, who tend to highlight the positives of leasehold ownership. After all, what's better than having your own villa in paradise to call home, especially if it comes with guaranteed returns and buybacks in place? Unfortunately, buyers who don't conduct due diligence may find themselves confused about their legal rights. Take those heavily marketed guaranteed buybacks, for example. If you are unfamiliar with this term, it is when a developer promises to reacquire your property for agreed upon price at a certain point in the future. It sounds great in theory, but is only enforceable under certain circumstances.
This is kind of like commercial advertisement, yeah, commercial advertisement. The developer or the seller can say whatever they want. If they put in the agreement, that is part of the agreement. So it's more like commercial, it's like promise and then agreement, right? So if it is in writing and if it made clear enough, yeah, then it is enforceable. So you need to make sure that it's made it clear in the agreement that this is guaranteed.
There is also the issue of what exactly do you own and what is covered by the lease. Some foreigners may want to build their dream home in Thailand from the ground up, even if the land is only being leased. It may sound good in theory, but the reality of that can turn into quite the nightmare.
I mean, if you lease both the land and the house for a good price, then it's good. I mean, you don't have to think about upon the expiration of the lease term, how can you remove the building, or will the landlord buy this building from you or not? That's quite challenging, right? And sometimes the land officer will just refuse to, like, okay, you lease the land and then own the house. Some land officer will just be crazy, like this is crazy. Some land officer, they allow to do this structure, but some places may not allow. They may allow only you lease both the land and the house.
And speaking of the land office, it can be extremely difficult to navigate, and not just for foreigners. My Thai wife has spent days trying to get matters sorted there, only to leave each time dazed and confused by a new issue.
Even Thai people, when they deal with the land office, they still encounter with some problems with the land officer because you cannot communicate with them properly, or maybe they just like the land officer, they are not friendly user. Okay, they're not like very like friendly. Some part I understand them because they're quite busy. I mean, land office seems to be one of the government office that have cases all the time or encounter with people all day. So what I would say is you need to have an agent or proper like lawyer to help you through the process at the land office. You pay them something to help facilitate, prepare the case, take less time. You don't have to come and go. Or even you can even like give the power of attorney to your lawyer or to your agent to do this on your behalf.
Ultimately, buying a leasehold property in Thailand is a good idea if you feel comfortable about the person or developer you are acquiring it from. That being said, it still doesn't hurt to provide yourself with some extra protection before signing any document for added peace of mind.
Some people, they just feel confidence that they are reading the agreement clear enough, but in fact it could translate the other way around. So paying a lawyer just a couple of hours to help review and give comments, it's worth, isn't it? I mean, you don't have to hire them throughout the process, right? At least meet with lawyers and then pay them just 1 or 2 hours, 3 hours to help explain or read and make recommendation. That's good enough. Just don't feel like so confident that you understand everything, right?
There are also a few other things to take into consideration, with the most important of these being to know exactly who you are paying before sending anyone any money.
I also see some cases that the lessee make the payment to the agent, like the property agent, and then it turns out that the lessor or the property owner has never received the rent because the agent took the money, right? So try not to transfer the payment to the agent.
One last point about buying leasehold property in Thailand. We are still in fairly uncharted territory when it comes to the process as a whole. With foreign real estate ownership having only really taken off in the past 20 years or so, there isn't much in the way of legal precedent, especially as it relates to those lease extensions.
There are not many cases happen so far because 30 years in the past it was like, right? It was like 30 years before. So not many cases happen so far. So most likely now both parties, they are acting in good faith. Okay, some of them may just renew for another 30 years, just go to the land office. Both parties still survive, their business doing well, they can go to the land office and renew. But I guess in the next 5 to 10 years from now, we will see more cases happen because 30 years in the past, I mean, this leasehold option is very was used very recently, maybe like 20 years ago, right? So in the next 5 to 10 years from now, we will see more cases. Like some foreigner will say like, yeah, I want to renew my leasehold option for another 30 years. And then the developer or the owner, the landlord, may refuse to register the second lease term for the lessee. And then it will take another 5 to 10 years to have the Supreme Court judgment. So we're talking about in 5 to 20 years, we will see more cases about leasehold option happen.
Bangkok traffic here at Exok Junction. Now that is chaos. Leasehold property ownership in Thailand, well, it's complex but far from chaotic. Remember, if you do have questions or concerns, make sure you consult with a legal professional who can assist with those. That does it for me. I'm Property Group Editor-in-Chief Cheyenne Hollis, wishing you happy house hunting.